Back to North Dakota today. We love having you here. And today, in honor of President's Day, we thought it would be fun to talk about a president who has his very own national park named after him here in North Dakota. And who better to teach us a history lesson than celebrity historian Raffi Andonian, who joins us now via phone. Hi, Raffi.
Hey there, how are you doing?
I am doing great. So glad to have you here. So we're going to get right in it. How did Theodore Roosevelt first arrive in North Dakota?
He came to North Dakota in the 1880s to hunt bison. He loved the Western lifestyle, or he kind of romanticized about it. He read about it. And what happened is, he wasn't immediately accepted. He was wearing his, eyeglasses. He was skinny. And what happened is, at one point, he got into a bar fight because he was made fun of for wearing glasses. But although the bar patrons were happy that he kicked him out, the bully. So he had a lot of interesting stories as he was getting introduced to the place. But he showed a determination because the bison were being wiped out by commercial hunters, and he was looking for them, and he couldn't find them. So it took a lot of determination for him to stick around, and that certainly earned some reputation for him. So in the 1880s, there's this boom in cattle taking place in North Dakota. And what's happening is, as a result of the bison being wiped out, there's this land that the cattle are being driven up to from Texas. And so as a result, he ends up being pulled into a business venture there. He partners up with a few local business people, including the famous Marquis de Morez, who helped establish the meat packing industry there. And there was a lot of advantages with the Dakotas over Texas because of the fact that it was better connected to the railroad to send markets out east, and to send the beef out east to markets and not spoil the meat. So he saw that opportunity, put down $14,000 with a few partners, including the brother of the guide that had taken him around for the bison hunt that he was trying for. And that's how he came to North Dakota and established his presence.
Okay, wow, there's a million stories in there I want to dig deep into, so you're going to have to tell us how we find out more. But first, I have one more question for you. So, I mean, we can really see this developing, but how did North Dakota really shape Theodore Roosevelt as a leader? I mean, so many of those stories going into that determination.
Well, that's right, and he was there at a really key point in his life. For example, his mom and his wife had died on the same day, on February 14th, Valentine's Day in 1884. So that made him immerse himself in North Dakota to get away from the East Coast. He's from New York originally, and when he did so, he became a major rancher. And he put out 3 books on hunting and ranching. He also became the local Stockmen's Association head. And that all shaped him because he kind of established this notion of manhood to show that he has a strong body. In addition to just a strong mind, he also learned how to connect with commoners in North Dakota, which really helped him later. There's a great story where he chased down boat thieves for days in the ice, and he won them over so much that one of the thieves from jail wrote him a letter asking to see him, asking to visit because he was so impressed. That's the kind of personality he had. I'll also add that the Rough Riders is a notion that he came up with later with the Spanish-American War, but he was exposed to the cowboy lifestyle here, and so that affected him too. And I would say the Rough Riders concept is a result of the Dakota's influence on him. And finally, the conservation ethic. I used to work for the National Park Service. The Theodore National Park is obviously part of the National Park Service. And while he didn't start the National Park Service, he really promoted conservation ethic. For example, writing about how the cattle industry in the Dakotas was unsustainable, and he was right. I mean, there was a major winter that came by that wiped out 80% of the cattle because of the way that they were doing the grazing, and that caused a lot of financial disaster for him. But he had those books, and he had the conservation ethic already down, and he established, and when he became president decades later, he established the Antiquities Act, which is used to this day when the president creates national monuments, which is for natural or historical purposes. And it's really fascinating that that's kind of the origins that later helps, lead to the National Park Service. And Theodore Roosevelt started that because of the conservation ethics he developed while he was in North Dakota. That's how important it is. And so how fitting that it's a national park that is named after him, after his legacy.
Oh, it is incredible, Raffi. Like I said, there's so much I want to dig into, but we are pressed for time. So tell us where we can find more, and so everybody can go and find out more about this incredible leader who started out as a skinny kid with glasses.
Most of all, that's right. Most of all, I would visit the site, the Theodore Roosevelt National Park. There are multiple ranches on there that he was at. He lived in 2 different ranches. And that you can go to nps.gov, which stands for National Park Service, nps.gov/THRO, stands for Theodore Roosevelt, /THRO. That's where I would go to learn more. I would visit the website and visit the place. That's where I would start. And if you want to learn more about me, you go to celebrityhistorian.com.
Thank you so much, Raffi. What a wonderful day. Thank you for that President's Day information there. And we will have more.
Happy President's Day.
Yes, happy President's Day to you. We'll have more on North Dakota Today in just a little bit.